Hello. I've recorded several videos recently that expose a lot of really bad behavior on the part of God's people. But comments from Christians say things like, oh, that had nothing to do with God. God gave us free will and we can do whatever we want to do. And these are just examples that you've cherry picked about some really bad people. Well, since he's an all-knowing God, I would think that he would know that these men that he empowered to run the world were going to do horrific atrocities against other less powerful people. So would that all-knowing God, all-powerful God not bear some responsibility for creating people with the capacity for such evil? So let me tell you here, this is the definition of free will: the power of acting without the constraint of necessity or fate, the ability to act at one's own discretion without fear of consequence. That's free will. Now, here's the definition of coercion: use of force or intimidation to obtain compliance. So let me see here. If I say to my child, you don't have to clean your room unless you want to, is that coercion or free will? But what if I say to that child, you don't have to clean your room, but if you don't, you're not going to eat for a week? Coercion or free will? How about if I say to a slave, you don't have to plow this field. You can if you want, but you don't have to. Coercion or free will. But what if it says, or I say, if you don't plow this field, then I'm going to beat you bloody? Free will or coercion? But how about if I am a great big loving God and I say to one of my subjects, you don't have to worship me, but I really wish you would? Is to worship or not to worship free will or coercion? But what if I say, I, the big all knowing, loving God, says, you don't have to worship me, but if you don't, I will torture you throughout eternity in a lake of burning fire? Free will or coercion? Do, 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 do. I think you get my point.